I've listened through every version of TYCHO Dive. Hey, howdy, hello. Cannot wait to show you all the variations. I really feel like I understand the differences. Maybe you're trying to hunt down a vinyl copy. Maybe you're just trying to appreciate this amazing album from 2011. I do have every variation of it sitting up here and some other TYCHO albums we've gone through. Check out Awake too. I've just finished the Awake Vinyl Shootout, every pressing of it, but we're gonna focus on the vinyl. I will touch on how much I love the album too. So I wanted to hear it for myself because I love this album. This is one of my all-timers. So we'll do 3 pieces here. What I want to do is actually just guide you through. I made a note. The way I used to do vinyl shootouts is I would like make a note and say, list all the nuances. And there are a lot of nuances, but what if you're just looking for a vinyl copy? Now, if someone can play grade it for you, that's a great thing to ask with any sellers that you look for online, just to make sure. The original variant in 2011, Scott put out this version, which is just the standard variant on black vinyl. Looks exactly like the repress that I'm showing you now. Remember, single pocket, no gatefold, just the printed cardboard inserts. Those are going to be your stamper runouts. And most people saying if you're hunting down original, be careful, make sure your runouts match. It's hard to know because as you're going to see, there's a lot of duplicate or similar runouts. And you can get a copy in the US even now for pretty cheap. Looks like they pressed a few thousand of them, at least. Maybe 3,000 people have them. I will say my repress / original right here, as I was A-Bing it back and forth, I think it was actually my least favorite to listen to. If that tells you anything. But the one that I have matches these runouts, which is the next press after the 2011. It's technically the 2013, and it technically says salt in the runouts. You can get it for pretty cheap too. Pressed by Rainbow Records, apparently, before they shut down. That's kind of funny. Mastered at Salt Mastering. So the rest of these are going to be pressed at GZ, which some people don't like. One dude said, in response to this guy who was asking about the differences between the repress and the original, that generally a better experience than the GZ press. I just don't want to give a lot of attention to that, because as I was listening to this, I had to nitpick to really find the nuance. I thought the green vinyl sounded the best, and then I soloed the orange vinyl, and then the orange vinyl actually became my favorite down the road. There are subtleties that you'll like, and maybe in different songs you'll like that little bit of difference. But on the repress and original, I'm just saying it was my least favorite to listen to, but there was a couple songs where I thought, well, this sounds great, just as good as any of the other ones. I would say it just sounds like the whole thing is just one step back, and you can boost volume and kind of make up for it. But the treble sounds just a little bit more open in the other pressings. I don't know why. I'm not dead set on like Rainbow sounds better than GZ. In fact, even if you go back to this original press that they did here, which they don't have a lot of info about it, there isn't even much more than these pixelated versions. It's the same as what you're seeing in the quote-unquote original or repress in 2013. You're getting all the same packaging, just in the quote-unquote deluxe version. But it's not the deluxe album, which if you go open on your streaming service, it's got the remixes. These do not have the remixes in it. I wanted to check and see if they sell the Dive remixes on vinyl. And I don't think you can. You can get the Dive. They got a 12-inch of Coastal Break and a 12-inch of Dive. Check out those. Just got that whole thing of it. Be really cool to hunt down. These go for not that much if you can import it. That's the only problem. I almost snagged Coastal Break back a few years ago when I was hunting these down, when the represses were announced. Those would be some cool pieces. So you get this deluxe version. It does not have the remixes. It's just the fact that the packaging is deluxe. It's a limited to 1,000 copy. It's on heavy 180 gram vinyl. That's the only difference that I'm seeing, other than that tip-on jacket, which is super nice. You're gonna pay for it. You know, the cheapest one I'm seeing with bad vinyl, it's $100, 120. Yeah, but that's what you're getting, and it looks like cool packaging. But here's the kicker: I'm not seeing the runouts, and I would imagine it's the same as this OG. I think they claimed that was the OG, so it's all confusing. But here's what people are saying. There's noise distortion, and it sounds really good when it's loud, but there's lots of crackle and pops. Someone's saying they would have one with the salt variant. The salt one was definitely printed in 2012 or earlier. So I think they were pressing multiple of these to get it out, and I think that's what happened. Because if you look at this quote-unquote repress with salt, somebody's saying this salt definitely came out prior to 2013. Again, I purchased it in the spring of 2012. So what I'm saying is they did reissue it with a different press at Rainbow Records, and that's the one that I've heard. If you go for that original, just be aware that you're gonna have, it's gonna be hard to hunt down. There are people claiming there's noise distortion, but one person's saying the pressing is superb with lots of low end. I can tell you from listening to all these that these all are in that same ballpark. And even in 2016, when they started reissuing it with tons of stampers, you may hunt down this one. It says one of the best things that they own, right? This green that I have matches that completely, but maybe you want green. That Coke bottle clear, it's a beautiful press. This is actually probably my favorite matching sounding press, but it is so expensive. I believe I paid $80 for this 2019 green variant. I just missed it because I was trying to hunt down TYCHO vinyl in 2019, and it shot up in price. And when I finally was able to hunt down the ones I wanted, that's when they announced that 10th anniversary repress. And we did get two different ones. 2022, we got the orange and red. This is such a beautiful fiery variant. This is my favorite so far. It really matches like that idea of the sun theme in the middle, the circle. So I love that. It's like it is that up close. Like you got really close to it. A beautiful sunset, and it is that same runout as the green, and it is pressed to GZ. You'll see that Czech Republic on it. I had no issue with it. It was my favorite one. So there's tons of people you can read through their reviews about issues, but some people are saying, nah, that was great. A few scattered stuff, but it's perfect. There might be some noise in that first bit of it on AWOC, but it really wasn't bad. Really wasn't. And I'm telling you, when I say the whole vinyl stood out against all the other presses, it is my favorite press. So, but you may have, again, this was during a time in the pandemic, there was so little vinyl. The presses were backed up, and they finally got TYCHO back out because they were shooting up in price. We're happy to see it get back in the hands of fans. I did get the teal variant too, the Vinyl Me Please. This was my favorite one for a while. This is probably the cleanest sounding one with the least noise floor, I would say. But it is the same. I would say it's the exact same as that fiery red one. But my question was, what were the runouts on this? And I believe they're the same. Yeah, I am looking at the same runouts as the green one and all that. So they're running back the stampers on all these new presses. But unlike the Wilco Yankee Hotel Foxtrot Vinyl Shootout and some of the other Vinyl Shootouts where I showed off the original variants that sounded awesome, I don't think there's anything on the original variants that's going to blow you away more so than these. And even against the digital, I only think that The only thing you're really losing is this kind of sharp treble. It's just kind of sitting back a little bit nicer on vinyl. And I love the pleasant listen. So it's 180 gram. That's another thing. If you were looking for the 180 gram, you might want to hunt down that teal marbled. Now, obviously the color, it looks more like a hyper-realistic water, I would say. And it's not exactly that green and peachy color that we love with the album art. The only thing I would say is remember to turn it up, because I was convinced that this green one was my favorite one. And then I equalized all of them, and all of a sudden the hair started to be split. And it's still my favorite one across the board was that reddish orangish one. I don't think there was anything. Every time I clicked the OG, I was kind of like, ah. Even when I turned it up, it still had that good vibe by itself too. I loved listening to it on its own, but it just it sits back a little more. And so I love the alive feeling of these new presses. So that is my general thoughts on it. What a beautiful album. Scott Hansen, as I've talked about many times, he does stuff with his technology that really reimagines and put his own spin on stuff that we love from old. And Scott has talked from like 11 years ago or whatever on YouTube. And he's not just obsessed with equipment, he's creating beautiful sounds and soundscapes, making these beautiful pieces that will last a lifetime. Every single one of his albums and the whole band, the way it sounds live. I got to see TYCHO live for the first time last year. So good. I'm not gonna make a TYCHO dive pun about diving into all the other variants that I want to get into, but just know that if you pick up a TYCHO dive, you're gonna love it. The textures and tones all come through beautifully, those beautiful analog synths and amazing guitar tones, and you'll still get beautiful clarity and vinyl warmth and punch that we love. So appreciate you stopping by. Keep on grooving your way.